First topic. I'm really glad that two important persons for the steel industry from the European Commission are available today to have some welcome notes for us. I think it's maybe we could start with Felix Rohn, who is worked in the DG Enterprise and Education and Culture, and now he is in the DG Employment, responsible for the blueprints for sectoral cooperation on skills. So thank you very much and very much welcome, Felix. The floor is yours.
And we agreed that you would show the slides, right?
Just a minute.
Okay. At this point, if I have a public like this from the steel industry, I like to mention that my father and my grandfather were steel engineers. But I unfortunately became a lawyer. So I broke with the tradition of the family. But my first job was in the sales division of a company that provided steel plants with steel technology. And and in front of us was the first Alpine Stahl in Linz, where I still have friends. Very good. Stay there first. So I will speak about the European Skills Agenda and the relation between the European Skills Agenda and industrial policy, European industrial policy. And from there, Gabriele will take it further. So the Commission adopted the skills agenda together with other documents, with a proposal for a council recommendation on vocational education and training, a communication on youth employment support, and also a proposal for a council recommendation to reinforce the youth guarantee. And the skills agenda is also anchored in other policy areas, European policy areas. The skills agenda shall also support to achieve the European Green Deal. The skills agenda is clearly complementary to the European industrial and SME strategy, and also to the EU digital strategy, and will also help to achieve a European education area. And she shall contribute to to a recovery from the crisis. Yes, I think you can go to the next slide, please. Yeah. And here we have the next slide. And the skills agenda shall also support people in the green and digital transitions, because these are reshaping clearly our way of life, our way of working. During the crisis, we have seen the limits of our current preparedness, what digital skills are concerned. So many workers lacked, I speak in the past tense, digital skills, and the workplaces were often underprepared. But of course, we did a huge jump forward during the crisis. It's in the human nature that we can learn very fast when we are under pressure. Well, the pandemic also had impact on the labor markets for millions of people in Europe and also worldwide, of course. And then on the other hand, now that we are in the phase of recovery, we can also turn this into an opportunity and also supporting and speeding up the green transition and further speeding up the digital transition. And of course, for this, people have to be equipped with the right skills. So we have to make a huge effort to upskill and reskill the workforce. For example, 20% of pupils are underperforming in reading, in maths, and in science. 60 million low qualified adults, so below, they do not even have secondary school graduate. And then we have 44% of the population without basic digital skills. These are figures that simply do not fit to our complex and sophisticated economies and industry. So that's why we have to change this. Next slide, please. Yes, this one. To achieve a kind of skills revolution, we have to see that all the policy initiatives are coordinated, that they are coherent. And this slide shall visualize this, that we try to achieve coherency between these initiatives you see here. And I also mentioned it already in the introduction when I talked on the first slide. Next slide, please. So let me go now to the European Skills Agenda. I will not go through all these 12 actions because there's no time for it, but I give you an overview of the Skills Agenda. And as you see, there are 12 flagship actions. They are organized in 4 building blocks, which are also visualized on the slide. And we are calling to all stakeholders to join forces, public, private, companies, authorities, chambers, trade unions, association of industrialists, regions that cooperate with each other across borders to join forces for skills. And that shall ensure that the skills of the people, that the people thereby are fit for the jobs that are on offer. Yeah, we have sometimes the phenomena that there are jobs on offer on one hand, and on the other hand, people, also young people, are unemployed. This we must end this situation. This is luxury and waste. But also people need also skills for, let's say, for their life skills, so that they take good decision as citizen, that they take part in social life, in the life of their communities. And then last but not least, of course, this will require quite an amount of money. So we want also to unlock the investment potential of, in particular, but not only, the recovery plan, recovery and resilience facility for Europe, but there are also other funding sources, not only European, also national and private. And this has, as I said in the beginning, joining forces also means putting the money together so that we can unleash the skills revolution, let's say. Next slide, please. Yeah, this one. So on the top of the last slide, you saw the Pact for Skills. It's the first flagship action, but it can also offer, must not, but in the framework of the partnership that joins the Pact for Skills, you can also implement and help to implement the other actions under the skills agenda. And we want that the Pact for Skills mobilizes, incentivizes all relevant stakeholders for upskilling and reskilling by creating partnerships, skill partnerships, based in the European industrial ecosystems. I will come to that with another slide. The major players shall drag along the SMEs in their value chain and shall also support them. In the Pact for Skills shall support the green and digital transitions, shall also support local or regional growth strategies. And we want that partners or partnerships that join the Pact, that they come with clear commitments for reskilling and upskilling people at working age. And for that, the Pact can also build on existing EU initiatives for cooperation, notably the Blueprint for Sectoral Cooperation on Skills, but also the European Alliance for Apprenticeships or the Digital Skills and Jobs Coalition. So pledges under the last two could be increased and integrated in a partnership that joins the Pact for Skills. And then, okay, in the beginning, the Pact will put emphasis on the industrial ecosystems as they are defined in the industrial strategy. Last month, an update of this industrial strategy was presented by the Commission with detailed information and assessment of the 14 industrial ecosystems in the annex in the annual single market report. And we have been organizing a series of consultations already with relevant stakeholders coming from these industrial ecosystems. And the objective is to have 14 large-scale skill partnerships in each industrial ecosystem by the end of the year, so that you can imagine the ecosystem. I asked Antonius to show the next slide. Yeah, this one. So it looks a bit complicated, but you can look at it again, of course, because you will receive the presentation. You have here the 14 ecosystems in the circles in different colors. Then you have a kind of demonstrative list of subsectors that belong to the ecosystem. For example, aerospace and defense. You see there are aircraft production, space, manufacturing services, defense product and technologies. This is just demonstrative listing, not exhaustive listing. And why is it in blue? It's because in this ecosystem we have an ongoing blueprint project. And if you go, for example, to energy intensive industries, then you see it's also in blue because we have this Blueprint Alliance, which is object of this subject of this conference, ongoing. But we also have another blueprint where also Antonius is the project coordinator, working on skills for energy intensive industries and the skills for industrial symbiosis, so that these industries work together, can work together. For that, you need specific skills across these industries, across iron, steel, chemicals, or non-ferrous metals, industrial symbiosis. So all the blue ones have an ongoing blueprint project, and all those with this done sign, that means that we have already partnerships, large-scale skills partnerships with concrete commitments in 3 of these industrial ecosystems. And RT means round table, and that shows that we have already organized roundtables. I mentioned them before, organized with stakeholders in all these ecosystems which have this RT sign, and now the colleagues in the Commission services that work with these ecosystems are following up with stakeholders with the objective, as I said, to have large-scale skills partnerships by the end of the year in these ecosystems. Yeah, and we have still 2 roundtables to hold. Okay, my last slide simply shows the internet links to the European Skills Agenda, to the homepage of the Pact for Skills, and to the homepage to the blueprint for sectoral cooperation, where you have links to all 21, I think, blueprint alliances ongoing. And with that, I'm at the end of my presentation. So, floor back to you, Antonius.
Yes, thank you very much, Felix, for this comprehensive presentation. I think from the blueprints, we are very much looking forward on this Pact for Skills and the industrial ecosystems to have, let's say, also an overarching platform where we can exchange and develop things further. So thanks a lot for this. Okay, now I may change to Gabriele Morgante, responsible for the steel sector in DG Grow. He's also responsible for the or contributed to the implementation of the European Steel Action Plan, and he's contributing also to the management of the high-level group of energy-intensive industries. So good to have you here, Gabriele. So another important person for the steel industry in the European Commission. The floor is yours.
Thank you. First of all, I need to know whether you can hear me properly. Everything, because I needed to connect with my personal telephone. Due to some. Okay, perfect. So first of all, so thank you. Thank Antonius. Thank Klaus. A little bit more thanks to Antonius for calling me a very important person. So this is, which is something that of course I fully subscribe. So in my 10-minute speech, I will try to focus a bit on the importance that ESSA project has for DG Grow and the Commission. So if Felix focus more on the instrument disposal, my interest will be to share with you why this project is important for us and what are its implications. So first of all, as Antonio said, I'm responsible in DG Grow for the steel sector in a, let's say, horizontal way. So everything which affects the sector sooner or later lands on my desk. It might be climate policy, it might be trade, it might be competition, it might be skills, of course. In this period, as you might imagine, we are particularly focusing on all these pieces of legislation that will affect, of course, also the steel industry, and that will compose the mosaic of the so-called 54-55 package. So it's ETS, it's CBAM, and by the way, I will, after my intervention, I will need to run to another meeting because we have many of these policy initiatives that we are dealing with at the same time. So why ESSA is important? ESSA is mainly important for us because in view of the so-called twin transition, we as DG Grow, but as the Commission as a whole, needs to have a comprehensive picture, a comprehensive overview of all the implications that this twin transition will bring. So for us, ESSA is, if you want, an important It's an important project because we are confident that this will help us to shed light on implications at employment level of this transition. That, as you know, is an ambitious political and policy objective from the part of the Commission, because it will affect every part of our industrial ecosystems, our consumption patterns, of course, including the energy-intensive industry ecosystem. As I say, this is part of a comprehensive evaluation. This evaluation involves technology developments. I heard that Klaus will tell you more about the Clean Steel Partnership, so he might explain more about the technology path. It's an evaluation that will focus on the investment needs, because, of course, this transition will not happen for free, neither for the workers, but nor for the industry. So we will focus on technology development, on investment, on the support that we as a Commission might provide to support this transition, both in terms of funding, but also in terms of policy initiative, and by providing, consistent policy framework that allows the transition. You might have seen in the beginning of this month that we have published the updated industrial strategy. There was the Green Deal, and as I said, there will be in July a series of measures, the so-called Fit for 55 package, whose goal will be basically to bring the EU legislation up to date in order to meet the EU climate targets. And we, as DG GROW, we are actively involved in contributing to some of them. Another important aspect that we need to recall is that this twin transition will not only happen with cost for social partners, but it's also happening in a global challenging environment. We as DG GROW, we are also contributing to, for example, we participate in the Global Forum on Steel Excess Capacity. So persistent steel global excess capacity is something which is deeply undermining the viability of many of part of the EU steel industry. There was with Donald Trump the US 232 measures. This was already disrupting the trade at global level. Then that was a consequence of global overcapacity. Then there are many trade distorting measures that are taken by certain countries. Just to mention some data, for example, the 1/3 of the trade defense instruments that are currently in place concern steel products. This just to give you an idea of the importance of steel and also the challenges at the global level as far as trade measures are concerned. So on the side of the workers, what we can expect, something has already been said, and I guess much will be said during the meeting. So digitalization, as I said in the beginning, is expected to permeate the entire world of work and have, far-reaching effects on jobs and on tasks. So we might expect that some tasks, especially the physical and manual, might be less important, and that might be a division of tasks between digital technologies, human workers, with automatable tasks that might be performed by new technologies. But again, on this, I guess that this today's meeting will help us to shed light. But again, what we might expect is that given division of task, it is likely to think that a broad range of skill will be needed in the digital transformations. On the side of energy intensive, again, we already said something. So there will be a deep transformation of the entire energy intensive ecosystem, for which energy intensive will need to make significant investments. Will need to have significant abundant decarbonized energy at an accessible cost. We need to make investment in production, research, innovation, and so on. The consequences of all this, again, this will shape new types of jobs that maybe do not yet exist, which need skills that maybe we do not yet have. So reskilling and upskilling will be of key importance in this transition. Again, just to give you another figure, the Commission is expecting that in the next 5 years, 120 million workers in the entire European Union will need to be upskilled or reskilled. Another important message is that in this context, in this challenging context, of course, the energy-intensive industry ecosystem is of crucial importance for the Commission. I mentioned already the updated industrial strategy that was published a few days ago. You might have seen that the updated industrial strategy had a staff working document focusing on the challenge that the EU steel industry is currently facing. So this as a sign of the importance that this sector has for the Commission. So we are working, of course, on ESSA. We had also a tender on this on skills in the steel sector, but we as DG Grow, of course, have already started a discussion on this, also in the context of the high-level group of energy-intensive industry. As Antonio has recalled in the beginning, I'm also responsible for the coordination of this group. And this one of the main outcome of the work of this group was the master plan on the transformation of energy-intensive, where some important elements as far as the skills are concerned had already been produced. For example, on the need to acquire new skills, on the need to have an inclusive approach, considering that skills development will be a challenge. So it will be crucial to adopt an inclusive approach whereby low-skilled, semi-skilled, and high-skilled workers have opportunities to adapt. On the importance and on the fact that there will be occupational groups for which this twin transition will change the task profile. So there will be completely new occupations. And also on the fact that it is necessary to know which skills will be needed, and it is necessary to be better at building feedback loops that ensure that education and training provision can anticipate and, react to industry needs. So that were some key messages from our master plan. The master plan was also highlighting that these changes will mainly link to digitization, decarbonization, innovation, internationalization, and resilience. So that, for example, engineers, specialists, and business professional expert in emerging technology will be needed. And also, of course, the possible mismatch between the industry needs and the workforce currently available. Last thing, and then I'm over. I'm finished. On the 7th of June, as in the context of this work that had already started with ESSA, with the master plan, we have organized a roundtable on skills. It will be chaired by Commissioner Breton and Commissioner Schmidt, and we will have 12 speakers sitting around the table. Many of them will be CEOs, representative of energy-intensive industry, but social partners will be also sitting on the table, and it will be another occasion to discuss challenges that the EI ecosystem is facing in terms of skilling and reskilling of workforce and the support need for skills development. So that's all from my part. Thanks again for inviting DigiGrow and me in particular, and I wish you a successful work.
Yes, thanks a lot, Gabriele, for these kind words and underlying the importance of the sector and the skills, because the twin transition is not only digital and green, but has to be also, as I always say, social, in the not only upskilling, reskilling, but also changing social practices. One question from my side: the roundtable on the 7th of June, is it public?
No, it's upon invitation, but I'm confident that you will be informed soon also. Okay. All the relevant people will be informed soon.
Okay, thanks a lot. Okay, thanks a lot for Felix and Gabriele for setting the scheme from the European Commission perspective. What you underlined or expressed is very, very helpful for our project, because we also need political support on the European, but also later from the member states and regional level.